Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be putting bolsters on 3 of these knives. I've got my bolsters and we'll be putting handle materials on. A few people have asked me how I drill my handles with the tapered tang. Well, I'll show you how I do it in this video. But first, we got to work on these bolsters. So in the last video, I tapered the tangs on these knives, and now I'm building the bolsters and getting ready to put the handles on. I've already shaped the fronts of the bolsters and polished them. These are 2 pieces glued together with the holes drilled. They haven't been tapered yet, and we'll get to that where we fix them onto the blade. But now I need to separate them and cut the 45s on the insides. So we're going to get over to the torch, get those separated, and cut those 45s. And I also forgot to mention, a couple videos back, you saw me working on these chef's knives, or at least one of them. I'm working on 3 of them. But I made a side for it, or saya, for this chef's knife. This is a customer knife, and it's ready to go. Got a nice black walnut saya, and she's real nice. Comes out real good. This was everything that he requested. Colors, wood, you name it. I think it come out pretty good. Anyway, let's go get these bolsters separated. All right, so I've got them separated and I've turned them inside around, inside out. So now the scallops, which will be on the outside, are now facing in. And I'm doing that so I can hold them together with these pins. They just slide back and forth, but it keeps everything aligned for me. And I'm setting them down here. The pins go all the way through. And I'm going to come up here. I got a 45. Now, I've done a couple videos on making bolsters. A lot of stuff I'm not covering here because mainly I wanted to show you about the drilling handles in a tapered tang. But you want to make sure that you have these lined up. There's a whole lot of steps. Perfect holes, the whole 9 yards. I've already done the front of the bolsters and cleaned them up, so everything is aligned in the front. Now I'm going to cut these dovetails using those pins to keep everything aligned. I'm just transferring that alignment to the back. And you can cut these on whatever you want. I've got mine on the 45, and I'm going to cut these, and the handle material will be cut the same way. Now I will be adjusting the handle material, and I'll show you that when I get there because it's a different angle. I stop my taper at where I 45 it on bolsters. And I do that because on the front side, it's easy you can see that transition. I have done it 100 times and I can see that transition off them bolsters, and I just don't like the way it looks, but it's personal preference. So we're going to get here. I'm going to run not a new belt because I don't want to shear off a bunch of good grit for nothing. Well, not for nothing, but when I can do it with a duller belt and save that good belt for grinding blades and bevels. All right, so let's get her going. All right, so the bolsters are done. Now there'll be more finishing on them once I put the handles on, but I like to get them profiled and cut down close to finish dimension-wise. That way I don't spend a bunch of time grinding on there and getting everything so hot and, you know, causing damage to the handle material. And I always say use fresh belts when you start grinding your handles against the bolsters, and you won't have dips in there. You know, a lot of times you'll see folks have a dip right there. You want to avoid that, use fresh belts. So everything come out good and straight. And look, I've done videos on this making bolsters, and I'll put a link in the description for a little more detail there, but that's not what this video is about. So now it's time. I went ahead and matched handles to the blades. Let me grab a stag one here so you can see what I'm talking about. Well, it's not stag. This is bone, jig bone. And what I do is I put the bone on here, figure out where it's going to go. I look at the thickness of the bone because I don't want severe runoff on one side and real thick on the other. I want a good, even, uniform thickness before I even start. I match it and I mark it. So I've got a mark there. It's not the true mark because this is going to go forward as I cut the bevel on there to go up in that other bevel, the dovetail. I've also now have to match this tapered angle. It is different than what here where the bolsters are mounted, because my taper actually starts in here and comes down. So it's not going to be a 45 now. It's going to be a little, you know, a little cant to it. So what I do is I go test a couple pieces of scrap and I find the right angle. Then I cut the bevels and match to the dovetail. Get them good and tight, make sure everything is right. Now, with bone, it's a little difficult because it's oval. So you got to be careful of that. You want to try to keep them flat, and a lot different than doing just flat scales. I mean, it's pretty simple to do these. That's what I recommend for new makers, tackling natural materials like horn and bone and antler and stuff that's cut like this. It really takes some time. Drilling it's even more special. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get a piece tested, and then we're going to cut these bevels and get them fit to the knife. It's going to smell good too. All right, we got everything fitting up good. Now, you know, I had to adjust that shim you saw, depending on which one I was working on, a little back or a little forward to get the perfect fit, because, I mean, I tapered these by eye, you know, and there's a little difference in them. I don't know how you plan on doing your drilling, what have you, but there are jigs they make. I think Pops does, and Walter Sorrell makes them, drilling jigs for handles. You clamp it in there and you can jack it around. have made a very critical error, a stupid mistake. I lost about 4 hours of footage. Guess which footage that is? Drilling the tangs. I think I may have a couple shots there, but I deleted the folder, well, the files by accident. I made a couple serious errors that I know better than doing, and I'm working on 2 different channels at one time, and I had another folder open, and I plug my card into my computer, I take them off. Once they're on my computer, I take them off with the card. So what happened is I was transferring clips from another shooting for the other channel, and I, once I got them on the computer, I had to delete them. Well, what happened, I had those files on that same card, and I was going to copy them, separately and paste them over in their folder for this episode, and I deleted the whole card, everything on the card, which included all the drilling. Very stupid mistake. I knew better than doing that. I usually never even have another folder of another project open. Anyway, I finished the knives. I'll have some shots here for you at the end. Come out great. But so let me just tell you what you need to do to drill those holes in a tapered tang. You just want your tang flat, or your center of your tang needs to be 90 degrees to your drill bit. So I think I may have mentioned, if I still have the footage, that you can get a drill guide from Pops for drilling handles, where you can jack that tang up and drill your holes. I've never used it, but I like to use shims. I use paper towels, and a lot of times I eyeball it. I just look down there and see it looks 90 degrees, and I drill it. Your taper is very minute anyway, unless it's a radical taper. You need to shim it, but you want the center of your knife tang 90 degrees with your drill. So you have to, shim it up, jack it up, whatever, drill your hole, and it'll all be straight. Do the same thing when you flip it over. And but I really apologize that I lost that footage. Anyway, I think I did have a shot, if I still have it, showing you after I drilled one of those knives, the lineup. But they all come out pretty good. I'll have some shots here for you. Everything's come out great. I have one here. By the way, these scales are from Emily's Casting Crafts, good friend of mine, and I bought these from her. She don't sponsor the channel, but I'm gonna shout out to her. You can see her on Facebook, Emily's Casting Crafts. She'll make anything. She does custom work. These are alligator scales for my gator tail skinner, hunter, whatever you want to call it. Oh, and I finished up a chef's knife while I was doing all that. I'd really hate that you didn't get to see that, but it's really, that's all it is to it. You just want this tang 90 degrees with your drill bit, and you just shim your handle or shim your tang in between to do that. Just shim back here, or you use a drill guide or something like that. But I just jack it up, shim it. I use paper towels most of the time. I don't know if I have a shot saved of any of that, but I'm going to go through. But I know that I deleted several hours of footage. It wasn't just drilling other tangs, but I'm going to try to put together this video. Hopefully there's enough there to be worth watching. But I got some shots here of the knives here at the end. I hope you enjoy this. If you got any questions or comment, please leave them down below. I appreciate you watching and commenting and everything. I want to thank my patrons. We're going to see you on the next one.